Okie dokie. Now that we're live, I am just waiting for Vincent to get in and we will get started. So I will go ahead and send him out that link. Hopefully, everyone is doing okay today. We're going to be reviewing the Jubilee debate that I had with Patrick Bet-David, otherwise known as Valuetainment, on his podcast. So hope you guys enjoy that. I've done one other interview with Vincent on my page. I've posted it and it's on his page as well. You guys can go find him at Real Visigoth on YouTube and on Twitter. So, let's get him in the studio. Let me send him the link. All right, so we're just waiting on him to come in and we will get started. If anyone is having issues, just let me know with the audio and we'll try to get that figured out. Let's see. All right. All right, let's get the video pulled up while we wait. There we go. That's it. Oh God, what a face. Okay. Cool. We have Vincent here. Hey, man.
Hello.
How's it
So
going?
we're gonna, yeah, it's fun. We're gonna
Good.
review our liberal queens debate.
Leftist. I'm not a dirty liberal.
Okay. By the way, I think you have my handle in your title as big letters. I think it's like small letters.
Oh, okay. So I will change that after we finish up and then people
Okay.
can see that it's
Sure.
incorrect. But yeah, if you want to introduce yourself, I know some people are already familiar with you, but you can put your social medias or anything like that. I can put those in the
Yeah.
description.
Hello, I'm Vincent. Not my real name, but that's how I go by on the internet. I usually upload Ukraine content, and I'm Ukrainian myself. I was born in Crimea in 2001, but yeah, I also do occasional politics. I don't stream too much, but I might fix that. I had a couple of interviews recently, one with Anne, or at least we did even 2 interviews. I did one with Dylan Burns, with my classmate from Germany, and also with Connor Counterpoints. And I think we're going to have another with Counterpoints tomorrow, or not tomorrow, this Saturday. And also tomorrow we're going to have a panel with Anne on dark money in politics. Which is going to be which should be a lit panel because there's going to be Destiny counterpoints also, and some other people. Some of them are pretty small, as just the same as ours. And my handle is real with Visigoth. It's REALVIS GOTH, and it's everywhere. It's Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram. So yeah, that's about it.
Cool. All right, let's jump in. I don't know if you've seen any of this. I'm assuming you have seen a little bit of it.
I've seen a little bit of your part.
Okay, nice, but no one else's.
No, I've seen
Oh,
your,
nice.
and I've seen on YouTube, and also I've seen clips on Twitter.
Yeah, I was very surprised. YouTube's a lot kinder than Twitter is, so the comments I've been getting on that one are absolutely brutal. But
On
such
Twitter?
as yeah, as always.
Nice.
I always have people coming after me on Twitter. But cool. Let's.
Yeah, Patrick Bet-David is a pretty weird choice to debate capitalism, but yeah, he's also pretty pro-Russia, so that's
Oof.
something to know about him.
Oh God, interesting. We also found out, and this is just what they said on set. Some of the people I saw there, that he runs like an MLM scheme. So he's literally like a scammer.
A pyramid scheme?
Yeah, pyramid scheme.
Wow.
Yeah, what a guy, most moral capitalist ever. All right,
Well, to
let's.
be honest, I'm a capitalist myself, so I think I would agree with him on that one.
Yeah, but you're probably as a liberal more.
Well, I believe in welfare, so I think people should be
Yeah, like
provided for.
yeah. Oh, he's totally against it. We'll get into it, but he's also like against literally retirement. He mentions that like feminism is the reason, for some reason, that women think they should be independent single mothers, and retirement is an entitlement that they shouldn't be getting. I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, he's pretty insane. But yeah, let's get into that.
Are we just gonna look at your part, or we gonna watch the whole video?
Yeah, we can do, it's up to you actually. We can do just mine, or if you want to do some of like the highlights. I think Mason and Gabby, this girl who's just standing up in the video right now, and Xena did decently well. So we can
We
do
can
just mine.
we can do yours and highlights. I have a lot of time, so I can do whatever.
Okay,
I can
cool.
watch the whole video for like a year, but that's up to you.
Yeah, how long do you want to go? Probably
Like 2 hours, maybe.
2 hours? Okay, maybe hour and a half, because I do have something to do after this. Is that good?
Yeah.
Cool.
So I guess with Jen, they're just gonna look you and also highlights, I guess, for that.
Cool. All right, and then let me know if you ever want to pause and talk about any of the points that him
Yeah,
or somebody else
sure,
makes.
sure.
Cool. All right.
Here you go.
That was fast.
Hi, I'm Anne.
Anne, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So I do want to address part of the claim about poverty, but I also want to address what you brought up about like paying taxes. You said the top 1% pays a large amount of taxes. The problem is that the bottom 2 quintiles can't pay taxes because they quite literally have no wealth. Do you understand that? Like the bottom quintile of the United States doesn't have any wealth. In fact, they're in debt, so they have literally like negative wealth.
Why do you think that is?
I think that's for a lot of reasons. I think that's because workers have been exploited. I think that they haven't had the opportunity to gain social mobility
Why do you think that is?
because of exploitation.
You think they're being exploited?
Yes. Of
Oh,
course.
so people are being forced to work at companies. They don't have a choice.
I didn't say that they were.
So people
well,
are
if
being.
they are they are being forced. If the other option is starve or die.
What job do you have right now? What do you do for a living?
I do work from home stuff. I don't want
Okay,
to disclose that.
so you chose to do that, right? That's your choice. Great. If somebody works at Starbucks as a barista, it's their choice. If somebody has a job that they're working, it's their choice. If somebody is not utilizing their time properly and accordingly, of course the market's
Choice
not going to pay
how?
you
Do you
more.
think that, like they brought up single mothers earlier? Do you think that single mothers are sitting around playing Fortnite 15 hours a day?
Unfortunately, single mothers were manipulated on what happened.
Is that a
in-
yes or no?
Single mothers were manipulated by what Lyndon Johnson came out where they changed the benefits on giving single mothers the incentive to have kids on all the welfare program. That changed our system in a major way. The feminist movement got single mothers to believe they don't need men and they're going to do everything by themselves and they don't need a man to help them out. This division that's happened between us caused many people to be in the situation that they're
most
at.
households are 50-50. They're closer to 50-50
Not
today. So that has nothing to do with feminism.
Not
Feminism
necessarily.
didn't just like convince women because they're too stupid to think for
Feminism was one of the
themselves.
worst things that happened in America because it pinned men
Wait.
against women.
Do you think that women are so stupid that they've
No, I
been
don't.
brainwashed? Okay, so you don't think that they've just fallen into this feminist propaganda? You don't think
No.
they're idiots?
No, I don't
You don't-
think that. But I do think people can be manipulated
but they're
and
not
brainwashed.
stupid enough to do that because the majority
There
of people are
so
splitting
many, there are so
nearly
many
towards
people that bought
50-50.
into a philosophy that stole decades away from their lives, decades away from
What-
their lives, because they
what is
bought
this?
into an idea that didn't produce the results.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about capitalism
Okay,
is the
go.
Feminism has apparently taken years off people's lives. I don't know. He makes a lot of these claims where it's just like a story. I don't understand.
Like how does he like argument for that? Like how did they take lives like years from life?
Yeah, I don't understand that. He also doesn't explain how feminism caused them. Like, okay, they think they don't need men. So you think like the single mother, like struggling to feed all her kids, wants to pay all her bills on her own. She wants to like, I think if you ask most women in the US, at least, they probably would say like, oh yeah, I want my father. I want the father in the household. I want dual income. I want, child support, and
Yeah.
they're not receiving those things. So it's just crazy. It's like, yeah, the single like Mexican mother that's working in like a grocery store is like, yeah, I just feminism. I hate men.
Yeah.
Insane.
best economical system
Okay,
that
wait.
provides the best results for people.
But we can't just jump back and forth between claim to claim to claim. So the claim about feminism brainwashing people into being single mothers, how
No,
does
no,
that
I
work?
didn't say, I said feminists originally brainwashed women to believe men are the enemy. That led to where we are today.
That
Last
has
week
led them to
report
being
came
single
in.
mothers?
Yes, in many cases, because they don't need men.
Do you have evidence for that? You really think a
100%.
single mother wants to be a single mother?
Absolutely, we
You
have
think,
evidence
you
of
think
that.
the single mother
The-
making minimum wage down the road, like
you-
working for some
you-
grocery
due
store,
to the
having to take care of all
due
of her
to the
children
amount of
is just like,
entitlement
I just don't need a man.
What
I just
per-
want to be
what per-
independent.
what percentage-
I'll live in abject poverty to
What
be
percentage
independent.
of the U.S. revenue that we get in you think we use for entitlement programs? What percentage?
I don't remember the exact
What do you think the
percentage,
number is? So we bring in
but it's far
$4.9
less
trillion.
than what we do in private spending.
We bring $4.9 trillion in. Okay, the
Okay.
U.S. revenue comes in. What percentage do you think goes to entitlement programs?
I don't know.
What do you think is a reasonable number?
Well, what you're calling entitlement programs, I'm actually not sure what you mean by that.
I'm talking about Social Security.
This is like a cheap debate tactic that he does where he's like, what's the exact number? What's the exact number? If you don't know the exact number, then you must be stupid and wrong. Like,
Did he actually provide the evidence for what he said?
so they do a fact check. And I will say, I'm actually very disappointed in Jubilee for the fact checks, especially in this video, are very misleading. And we can get into why. It's just ridiculous. The claim that he makes is that it's like, he quotes a specific number, but the specific number is like extremely misleading.
Security, I'm talking
Okay,
about
so social
Section
welfare.
8. I'm talking about any of these.
It's much
What
less than other
percentage-
OECD countries.
What percentage do you think
I don't
it is?
remember the exact percentage, but
I
it's
want
much
you to
less than
guess.
other
What do you
OECD
think it is?
countries.
You think
we
it's
are
10%?
far behind.
20%, 30%. What do you think the number is?
No, but it's relatively low compared to
But
other
what
OECD
do you
countries.
think it is? Can you guess the number?
I don't remember the number off the
It's
top of my head. I've already said that.
68%. How much more entitlement?
68%. Can we
Six-
fact check that?
You can fact check that.
Okay.
Please do so.
Please.
68% goes to entitlement
Of
programs.
our federal budget?
No, of the revenue that comes in,
So the
68%,
capita GDP.
not GDP. You're confusing the.
He's very, and people are trying to clown on me for this. He's not being specific about what he means by revenue, because revenue can be GDP, but he's talking about tax revenue. He's not talking about GDP, but he doesn't mention that till the end.
Yeah.
Two different things here.
Oh, but here's and he's saying like, oh, you're just confused. You don't understand what I mean. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't understand what you meant because you didn't specify. So the problem with the fact check is the first part, 60% of the federal spending went towards entitlements, including Social Security, Medicare, and federal pensions. I would assume he's not fully against retirement. I mean, unless he just wants like grandma to be working till she's 80, like in the,
Yeah.
grandma can't retire.
Not everybody lives until that age.
Yeah, exactly. He made a point later talking to Mason about the retirement age and how it needs to be raised because people are living longer, which is insane.
That's
But,
a strange. Yeah, that's a strange thing because Ben Shapiro also says that.
I don't know what the argument for it is. It's just strange because you should have people who, in the US, if you want quality of life to go up, are able to retire sooner and are able to live the rest of their lives peacefully and not working themselves to death. But it doesn't seem like he wants that. And he's not making the connection, even if what he said specifically is true, between single motherhood. Like, okay, you think retirement funds are affecting single motherhood rates? Like, can I get the data on that? That would be
Yeah.
very strange.
It's also
yeah. Good.
It's also weird that like their base is old people, like the ones who vote for them. Like, why would they do that to them?
Right. Yeah. I think about that quite often. Like, you guys are just screwing yourself over and you're screwing the future generations over. So the fact check actually points out that the 60% is for federal spending, not the revenue. Still much lower than other OECD countries, which if anyone doesn't know what that is, it's do you know the acronym? I forgot the
No.
acronym. OECD. Let's see.
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
I think you said that last time we talked. I think I mentioned OECD countries. Organizations for Economic Cooperation and Development. So basically, those are the countries you want to be on like good standing with, or you want to be on par with, because they're usually more developed countries. They're countries who have organized, like cooperated with trade, things like that, and their economies. But for some reason, we're far behind these other developed countries. We rank like in the 20s, I think, if you only count government spending on public welfare. If you count private welfare, we jump up to number 2 behind France. So France is the top for private welfare spending and public welfare spending combined, and we're number 2. But for some reason, in government spending, we're like if I'm remembering correctly, we're like number 20 something or something like that.
Yeah.
So even if it was 60% of our per capita GDP, and that number was basically for per capita GDP, not for revenue, we're still far behind other countries that are similar to us. And then the government spent 4.1 trillion on these programs and brought in 4.9 trillion in revenue. Somebody makes a point earlier, I think it was Gabby, like, shouldn't we be okay, even with this, the 4.1 out of 4.9, even then, okay, that's taxpayer dollars. Shouldn't our taxpayer dollars be going back into funding our own welfare? Like,
Yeah.
even if that's correct, like, that's my money. I should choose where it goes. It's just strange. And it doesn't seem like the point about social welfare spending, once again, is like contributing to feminists making women be single mothers or something like that. Because he makes it seem like he's kind of talking about like people mooching off the government, like, oh, EBT and SNAPs and NAF, and I think it's NAFT or
TNAF, I think.
TNAF, yes, TNAF or something. So it's like he's not talking about that. That's not the things that's like helping them be independent. These are things that are helping them retire at some point when they're not mothers.
Yeah, and America doesn't have too much welfare. It's not like a big welfare country.
Yeah. We're far behind the other Nordic countries in that aspect. But the initial point that I came up to make was that, okay, if the bottom 2 quintiles don't even have any wealth, why would they be paying taxes? Their income, even government assistance for these people, isn't enough combined with any wealth to pay those taxes. So it's like, and even if they were making enough to pay taxes, because they're so poor, the argument is that they still shouldn't be paying a proportional amount to what these billionaire CEOs are paying, because these billionaire CEOs are already getting all these tax breaks and everything, and they're not pouring it back into their workers.
Why not? How are they not pouring it in the workers?
So there's a few ways that they do this. Well, there are a lot of times you can take examples like Amazon, where their workers are completely overworked and they're put in facilities where they're not having any interaction with other employees. They're literally like isolated. They're walking to work, and they're like Amazon, Starbucks, other companies like that are engaging in union busting. And a lot of them will refuse to raise their minimum wage for their employees. So if these companies aren't investing very well back into their employees, then it should be the government's job to either regulate those companies even more, or to tax them higher to put that money back into the workers.
Yeah, but they still invest something, like they pay their employees.
Yeah. Of course, they create jobs. I agree. They do create jobs, but they're going completely, a lot of the times, very unregulated. And that's why I'm pro things like wealth taxes or death taxes, capital gains tax, stuff like that.
What is the death tax?
A death tax is a tax placed on inheritance. So say I die today and I have $1 million yacht and, I don't know, 3 houses or something, which I wish I had. But yeah, and I want to pass those on to, I put them in my will to pass them along. There would be a tax placed on those items to the person receiving they call it a charitable gift. There's also like gift donations, stuff like that, where if you give something over a certain amount, you have to pay taxes on it.
Interesting. I never heard of that.
Yes, I love death taxes. It's my favorite.
The Grim Reaper tax.
Grim Reaper tax, yes. Libertarians hate it. There's this famous picture of this libertarian like dressed in a full Grim Reaper suit, and he's got a big sign with like blood, like fake blood on it, and it's like, abolish the death tax.
But is it in place?
Yes, I think we do. Let me see, actually. This is not something I've looked into in a while. they're also called estate taxes. So
yeah.
yeah, it does look like that. 12 states tax the estate of the deceased, and 6 have inheritance taxes. Oh, in addition to the federal government having one. So yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big conservative move and a libertarian move to abolish the death tax because, taxation is theft. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well, kids are starving, so.
Actual tax revenue that we get.
Okay, so tax revenue.
68%
now
of
that
it
we're
goes
specific.
towards entitlement programs. 68%. Thank
Wow,
you.
that was fast.
Yeah, I think, let me pause it. Yeah, it was only a few minutes. I think my time started at, why does it seem so long? Let me see. Where did it start? About here? Yeah, like 27. So it was like 4 minutes total.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Not long.
I know. I was very surprised. I don't think I did the best out of everyone there, but I think I did like decently well. So, and it seemed like they gave more time. Like a lot of the people in the circle didn't vote out like the people who were not doing well. Like the guy who like he randomly offered a job to this guy over here in the black shirt, I think. Yeah, right here. Or like the girl he told, have you seen the clip of him telling the girl like, I'll pay for your specialist for your medical bills if I get to choose your psychologist?
No.
It was so strange. You should definitely check those clips out, but we can go over like the parts with, let's see. I know Gabby did well. We can check out Mason's part first. I think he did pretty well at the beginning. Okay. So here's the first claim, by the way. Oh, the claim that I was disputing, I think, was capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty. But here's his first claim. Incentive is the engine of capitalism. Remove it and the system fails.
Incentive is the engine of capitalism. Remove it and the system fails.
Hey, great to meet you, Patrick.
What's your name?
My name's Mason.
Mason, good to meet you.
Yeah. I'm valuetained. I'm a big fan of the channel.
Are you
So,
really?
yeah, I do watch you quite regularly.
Very cool.
I do not agree with your claim. I don't think that incentives are only born out of capitalism.
Okay.
Most capitalist defenders say that incentive is because of scarcity, and people's ability to get what is necessary pushes them to work harder. I disagree with that. I'd say that some of our hardest workers are single moms working 3 to 4 jobs, and the resources that they're able to acquire compared to those that utilize their workers in order to build profit for their own companies is not equivocal.
So how would you do it? How would you change it?
Yeah, so I think that humans inherently want to be meaningful. They want to contribute to their communities. They want to contribute to society. When you look at depression rates, oftentimes it's people who aren't able to do anything besides laying in their bed and basically barely taking care of themselves. So I think that it's just a human intrinsic value to want to bring value to their community or grander society.
Okay,
so I don't think that it has to be through scarcity alone that scares people into working.
Okay, he does. I will say, he does this weird thing where he's like, "Oh, I don't think that it's people wanting to like gain profit or something. I think it's people who have passions and they want to work for those passions." But it doesn't have to be either one. Like it could be both. It could be people who have a passion and that passion also makes them money. That's why people always say like, "Oh, I want to be like an art major, but I would also love to make a lot of money doing the same." Huh?
Which major?
Like if someone wanted to be an art major.
Oh.
Like theater or something. And what they always say is like, you should go for the field that makes you money and makes you happy. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, people just desire to work, which I don't know if I buy into that type of, that's very Marxist thinking, that people are intrinsically motivated to be productive.
What was your major in university?
Psychology. I just got my bachelor's in psych.
Are you going to get your master's?
Yes. If I put in my application sometime soon, I'll get into a program and start for counseling, and then I'll do research in philosophy of psych in my PhD.
Female Jordan Peterson.
You said that last time, I think, actually.
Yeah, I'm a broken record.
Yeah, hopefully not. Jordan Peterson he's something, man. Oh
And
my
pro
God.
Russian as well.
God, bro knows every pro Russian.
I do. Who said that?
Who said that? Who said that? All right, let's see what he's got. Did it play?
I worked for scarcity. I think there's levels to it. You have the survival folks who work for survival to pay their bills. Some work for status, some work for freedom, and some work for legacy. The folks that work 3 or 5 jobs, to pay their bills and do what they're doing, if the incentive wasn't there, they wouldn't work 3 to 5 jobs. Some of the guys that build a bigger business that solve a lot of problems.
The incentive there is either I die or I work. That's not really a system that rewards merit. That's a system that pushes people into insecure positions.
Not necessarily. In many cases, we put ourselves in situations as well. But when we're talking
are you saying that it's an individual failure for these single mothers that are working 3 to 4 jobs?
For some of them, it is.
Interesting.
For some of them, it is.
I'm glad you bite that bullet, because most people are not going to say that it's a moral failure of people that are born into poverty that continue to.
I think I can't hear you. Hello? Oh, yeah, now I can hear you.
To be fair for PBD, he did say some of them, not all of them. Which it might be. If you have somebody who's like not showing up to work and just doesn't care about working, like you're probably going to get yourself into poverty. I mean, probably not going to have a good life. But it seems like he's doing a little bit more than that. He's doing more of the like, yeah, this is the reason for most of those people.
Let me explain to you. For somebody like me, I came from the single mother system. My mother was a single mother. We had, my parents got a divorce twice. They married each other. They divorced. They remarried each other, divorced again. I came up. We didn't have a lot of choices. I joined the army. I got at that system.
It's funny. He's saying, like, did his mother just make terrible decisions then? Is his mother like morally failing? Just be like, I wonder if he would tell his mother, like, yeah, you failed. Like, you just failed at life. You failed at like being successful. It's your fault.
Isn't he like also he's from Iran, right?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
And I think he's also Armenian.
I'm not sure. I think he's a second gen immigrant, like his parents immigrated here.
Yeah.
I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is he also points and says, like, we didn't have many choices. So is it the fact that like she didn't work hard or she didn't have choices? Or is it both? And like, what did she have a choice in? What didn't she? Like, yeah. Okay.
It's also interesting.
Kind of wanted to see what I was going to do for myself. Do I stay in the
that it's off topic, but actually, president of Iran is Armenian. That was impressive for me.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. What do you use for lights? You're so bright.
I just have a little desk lamp that has like a very bright light bulb in it.
Wow.
It's nothing crazy. It is also strange that he said he was in the military. Military members literally get handouts galore. Like, you serve in the army and you get like free college, you get like payouts and retirement for all of that. So he's taking all of the payouts and handouts that he's saying like single mothers shouldn't use or people who are poor shouldn't use.
Yeah.
Insane. Bro's a handout queen.
Army? Do I get out of the army? I started working in sales, and then the incentive of working harder. Eventually, I build a good life for myself.
Again, you're totally dismissing the hard work that a lot of these people are putting into for just basic survival. I'd say that mechanics and plumbers and most people working blue collar jobs that are probably watching this video are working tirelessly day after day.
I don't
but
disagree.
Yet they still feel insecure positions to where they don't even know if they're going to be able to afford rent in the next 6 months.
So let me ask you,
if most Americans have a $400 to $500 emergency, they can't even afford that with the basic savings that they have. So this is not something that we should celebrate as promises of a system that gives you more if you work harder. We should say that this is something that rewards few. And I'm glad that you're an outlier that's been able to build a lot of success for yourself. I know that you're a multimillionaire. That's fantastic that you have those resources. But the thing is that cannot happen for everybody in society. It's possible for each individual to do it, but not everybody can be a millionaire. That's guaranteed.
I don't think not everybody can be a billionaire or a millionaire, but I do think people can find ways to use their time to effectively increase their market value. And I don't think many people do that. When I talk to people and they tell me, I've watched this show, I've watched every one of these shows, I've watched every one of these Netflix shows, You can use that time to increase your market value instead of kind of, focus on what's going on with the stories and shows that are out there.
Let's move away from Netflix and TV shows and talk specifically about, do you think that
Yeah, if single mothers just stopped watching TV, they would be millionaires like PBD.
Yeah, for sure.
They're watching-
But they have to run a pyramid scheme for that.
Yeah. They have to spend the time that they are watching TikToks or something, running a pyramid scheme instead, and they'll be good.
Yeah. By the way, was that mother who called the child an N-word and get a lot of money? Was she also a single mother?
I don't know. Was she? Maybe someone will know. I'm not sure. That was so disgusting.
Yeah.
capitalism is a system of merit that rewards people that are of higher merit?
I do.
Okay, so how would you say that this is a meritocracy when we have some people that are born into excessive wealth and some people that are working minimum wage jobs to provide for 3 or 4 kids? How would you say that that's a meritocratic society?
Those are two different things.
They are two different things, very unequal things.
Well, no, not necessarily. The parents get credit for making responsible decisions so they can take care of their kids.
But if they were valued for the labor, like if it was like whoever works hardest gets paid the most, because that's what you would expect. If it was like meritocratic, you would expect people who work the hardest to get the most money. But instead you see people like musicians making a ton of money and people who
it's like the top percent of musicians. Not every musician makes money.
Yeah, true. But you would definitely see, you would see like people who work, people who are CEOs making a lot less, and who just like sit in an office all day making a lot less money than people who are, like garbage disposal people. Those people work much more harder, more laborious jobs than, the CEO of Apple.
Yeah. Do you play any musical instruments?
I have a piano. I occasionally play.
Destiny.
I was taking lessons in elementary school, and I quit and I never got back into it, and I regret that a lot. My mom and my grandma told me, "You're going to regret this." And now I do. They were right. Apparently.
Yeah, and I used to play guitar and bass, and I used to be a lot into metal, so I was in a metal band.
Oh, nice. That's so cool.
Do you listen to metal?
I don't know. I'm very basic. I listen to a lot of pop and indie music, like Sabrina.
What about Taylor Swift?
Yeah, I'm a big Taylor Swift fan.
Nice.
I know.
You're Swiftie?
Yeah, I'm not beating the basic allegations.
Nice.
All right, let's see. Oh,
meritocracy, though. We're building dynasties of wealth.
I didn't come from dynasties of wealth.
I know,
came from
you're an outlier. I get that. I get that individual. But we're talking about systems. Capitalism is a system. It's not an individual testimony.
But it's a system that you get to use in your advantage. It's a system that's produced the best results than any other economical system. There's not an economical system that's...
This is total side note. I like that he says economical instead of economic system.
Is it a difference?
Yeah, that's not like the name for like it's not like proper grammar, like proper English. That's it. I just thought it was funny.
Produce better results than this. I think the incentive.
History is a march of progress, right? So there are going to be advancements that we make, or there's going to be solutions that we make to previous ailments. I'm not saying that capitalism hasn't brought in better things than systems like feudalism or monarchy, but that does not mean that we're at the end of history. Do you think that capitalism is the final solution, and this is what we're going to last?
I think capitalism is the best economical system because it gives an incentive for you to decide how big of a life you want to build. And by the way, the best way to judge it, let me just say this to you: the best way to judge it is in a very simple way. Take all the countries around the world. There's many different economical systems. What has the longest line of people wanting to get in there? It's America. Why is that? 15 million people came here illegally. Millions came here illegally just the last 4 years.
A lot of that is because of economic scarcity in other countries. Well, one of them, we could talk about one, is American exceptionalism, which is continuing. Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Was he longer than you?
I think probably. Let me see.
I think he might be longer.
He was at 40 seconds. Oh, he made it looks like about 5.5 minutes. So I think about a minute longer than I was.
Yeah. And he's pretty popular. I think he was in, what video was he before?
He's in a lot of them. I think he debated Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but yeah, he's pretty big. He's always on these Jubilee episodes. I think he probably lives nearby to the studio.
Yeah, I wish I was on Jubilee, but they don't really. I'm not sure even what panel would I go to. Like, I would go definitely to something Ukrainian, but I think the
Yeah.
only time they did it was they like put Ukrainians and Russians together, and I wouldn't be there. But also maybe immigration, I would go there,
That would be cool
like
to
an
do.
immigrant myself.
Yeah, I can text. I'll text some of the producers and I can see what we can do. Maybe
Oh,
we can get
thank
something
you.
work out. Yeah.
Nice.
They're super cool. They're super chill because I've posed some ideas to them. I would really love to do like a veganism one. They're kind of thinking about it, parsing that idea out. So hopefully, I mean, if they do veganism, I'll go back.
They never did veganism.
They've done like some of the episodes where it's like guess who's the secret vegan or whatever. But they haven't done a surrounded about veganism.
Yeah,
Which I think would be
that
really
would be
cool.
interesting.
Yeah, I know a lot of big vegans who have like huge platforms that I'm like, please, like take this person, put this person in the middle. They would be great. And one of my friends, he's got a really big platform. He went on and did an episode that was like, guess who's the actual vegan or something like that. So he talked to them and he said, yeah, I was just trying to get my foot in the door and then see if we can get something like that going. So hopefully I'll see him sometime soon. That would be really cool.
Yeah, it's also interesting on the side note. LA is like a big movie place, right?
Yes. Yep.
And I wonder if somebody like Destiny could have been casted into a movie. That would be funny to watch.
I don't know how well the movie would do if he was casted.
Because of the controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I wish more politicians would work with him, but I know it's kind of like social suicide to do that kind of thing.
David Pacman canceled an event with him.
Yeah, he told us about that. That was really unfortunate. I wish that they would have kept that event.
Told you about it, like you met with him?
Yeah, he at the event that we went to, and I'll be probably having lunch sometime this week. Friday, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, which event was that?
Tampa.
Oh, how come I didn't see him?
He was I don't know what time did you get to the event? Like, was it early?
I think it's a little bit later, but not too much later.
Oh, okay. When we were setting everything up, all the tables and stuff, we were streaming. I think it's on Erudites. She set up her stream at her table while we were getting ready, and we just sat there and chatted about stuff.
Yeah, nice. You gonna have a dinner with him?
Probably lunch, coffee or something sometime soon. But
is he like you gonna work with him?
Maybe we'll chat about that. I don't know. It was more so just like hang out, friends,
like
coworkers.
A friend.
Yeah.
Nice. You have a nice buddy there.
Nice buddy. Yeah, a nice controversial buddy. But
why controversial? Because of The Wired?
The the stuff with what's his name, Willie Mack, all that kind of stuff.
Did he do Willie Mack stuff?
Willie Mack, you haven't seen the Willie Mack video?
I haven't seen it, but I know what it's about. But what about David Pacman? How is he connected to that?
Oh, I think David Pacman. I don't know why David Pacman canceled specifically. He didn't quite say. I think it was the court case stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, look, I get it. If you have a big platform and you're like, nope, not willing to sabotage that, I think you kind of lose some of your credibility or like your spine. But I also get it. Like you have to protect your stuff, your income. Yeah. So I understand. But cool. I think Mason did really well. Okay, let's see. If I know that Gabby person, I know you know a lot about foreign politics, so you'll probably like part of her portion.
My next claim is capitalism has lifted more people out of poverty than any other system.
Patrick.
How are you?
I'm Gabby.
Gabby?
Yeah.
Good to meet you.
So I would argue that governments have actually lifted the most people out of poverty. If you look historically, we look at China, for instance, had the most significant poverty reduction in all of human history. They pulled 800 million people out of poverty using state-owned enterprises and state centralized planning. They did work with the capitalist system, but they did it, most of it was done through state-funded infrastructure, education, and contributing to strong literacy programs, redistributing the wealth. I think that my other argument would be that there hasn't been an opportunity for alternative systems like socialism to pull enough people out of poverty. So we look at examples.
There hasn't been?
There hasn't been enough opportunities for them to succeed. And so
Can
when
you
we
stop for a
say,
second?
I think that is because partly
I don't think capitalism pulled many people out of poverty. It's more the opposite, I think.
Yeah, it's more socialist, like welfare programs, if anything.
Yeah.
And the claim, though, there's a lot of this that happens in debate, and I don't know if this is just by virtue of like debate or if it's just unique to these types of conversations, but they often pose it as like it must be one thing or the other. Like it must be capitalism, or it must be social welfare programs, or it must be the government, where like it obviously can be a combination of all of those things. Like it could be the government using, profit from corporations, to fund welfare programs. Like that is a combination of using the capitalist system in order to better the society. So,
Yeah.
which is interesting. If you read Marx thought that we needed a strong capitalist base before building a social welfare state. So,
Interesting. I didn't know that.
because of the US, and I think because capitalist forces and global market insecurities have sabotaged these attempts to do socialism. So we look at an example in Chile in the 1960s. They elected a democratic socialist, and he proposed literacy reform, wealth redistribution, land reform, and all of that was a threat, obviously, to the United States because McCarthyism was on the rise at the time. And so instead of allowing Allende to have a chance with that, the U.S. Orchestrated a CIA-backed coup to take over and to have a military dictatorship that led the country instead of Allende, who actually was having a lot of success in reducing the poverty rates before the U.S. interfered. And so I think we look at other parts of Latin America, like Venezuela, for instance, and we see the same thing. We see that the U.S. has interfered several times. With Chavez in Venezuela, he was able to reduce the poverty reduction in half in the first decade of him being in office, and he was sabotaged ultimately by the U.S. and by a military dictatorship, so that the people that replaced them were actually.
So may I respond?
It's interesting that the fact check is saying like, okay, yeah, poverty decreased under Chavez, but today under the system he created and the leadership of his handpicked successor, Venezuela's poverty rate. Okay, that doesn't say anything about what reduced it. Like poverty was reduced in this system. Poverty has not been reduced anymore because of changes. So yeah, that doesn't go against the point that she made. So that's just weird. I don't know why they put that.
A lot of different cases here. So
Sure.
thank you for that.
Of
So
course.
let's go China first. Okay, so when you say China was able to recover and because they use state-funded, nationalized systems. So in 1978, Xiaoping, the leader of China, went to Japan. He saw what was going on with Japan for 2 decades. Every year, their GDP was grown by 15%. The economy was doubling pretty much every 4 years.
Sure.
They go over there. They say, we got to find a way to compete with Japan. How do they have fewer people, but they're beating us? They sit down with their leaders after a few drinks. Eventually, they say, how did you fix your economy to be growing the way that it is? A capitalistic society that they had in Japan. They asked the question from Xiaoping, the Prime Minister Fukuda, asked the question, how many banks do you guys have in China? He says, we have one bank. He said, it's a nationalized bank? He says, yeah. That's it? Yeah. How many loan officers do you have? Not many. You want to compete with one bank? Yes. He says, if you want to compete with us or others, here's what you have to do. You need 5,000 banks with 35 branches, with 30 loan officers. That's a total of 5.25 million loan officers and a population of 600 million people that are living there. You do that every week. You take 10 applications with these loan officers for small business owners, and you allow the small business owner to compete. They did that. China started competing. By the way, in America in the 1920s, we had around 30,000 banks when we were really,
Хорошо. Принесешь. Ну как? Я не спущусь.
competing in a marketplace. In the 80s, we end up having around 14,000. Today, we only have 4,100 banks in America. That concept of allowing just one bank to compete, it's not going to work. China takes on the idea.
Oh, you muted yourself again.
Oh my goodness. He's still not making a point about how it reduces poverty. He's just saying, like, with centralized banking, China wasn't able to compete as well in the world market. Oh, okay. The point is about poverty. It doesn't address anything about poverty. Just so weird. He's not very
from Japan.
If I
they
can
start
interrupt you,
growing.
I mean, I think that
they start growing with certain
I think
capitalistic
you're
philosophies.
thinking about this in very capitalist terms, which makes sense. You're a capitalist, but
because it works. That's the idea. Because it's produced the results.
You're only thinking about these scenarios in a situation where market mechanisms are in place, and this is the problem that I have with so many capitalists: is they can't exit their worldview and try to see a world where socialism could be in place because they don't understand the untapped potential of socialism. And I'm a democratic socialist. I think that we need to build forward towards that with reforms, and I think we need to work with the government. I don't think that we should abandon the state. I also don't think that we should give state elites the complete control over society. I do think that we should work with the state to instill these reforms and then eventually erode capitalism.
But unfortunately, socialism has had hundreds of years
thinking in terms of
to produce results, and it hasn't worked. Do you know why it doesn't work, though?
It's been sabotaged.
It's been sabotaged, or it's because it forces people to do something they don't want to do.
Does capitalism not do the same?
No, capitalism gives
there's
you
7 million people in this country who have to work
choose.
multiple jobs just to get by.
I have to work multiple jobs for a season.
They're forced to do that because either they do that or they starve. So if the options are to work or to starve, that's not freedom, that's economic coercion.
Respectfully, if you do that for a period of your life, I understand it. If you're doing that for 30 years, you're doing something wrong. You shouldn't be working multiple jobs for the rest of your life.
So first of all, I'm not going to argue with this moral argument. I think that people who live in poverty, especially when we look at how many people live in poverty in this country, and also it depends on how you define the poverty line, but there's 40 million Americans who live below the poverty line in this country. There's 3 guys in this country that own 40% of the wealth. How does that work in a country that is
You really want to go there? You want to go there? Okay, so let's talk about it. So when we talk about the rich people at the top, okay, and you say, well, the rich don't pay enough taxes. Do you know what the bottom 50% of taxpayers in America pay towards the revenue that the government gets in taxes? Do you know what the bottom 50% pays?
Tell me.
2% of taxes. Do you know what the top 1% pays?
There's been several years.
Do you know what the top 1%? Do you know?
They've been nothing.
No, hang on a second.
Taxes.
This is from the IRS. I'm not writing a blog from Huffington Post. This is not Daily Beast. I'm telling you the story. The top 1% pays 42%
I'll say this. The
of all
top 1%
tax
is
revenue.
about to pay.
I think you're muted again.
Yeah, sorry. So the bottom 98% pays 60% of the taxes. Okay. I mean, if the bottom 2 quintiles are completely exempt from that because they quite literally have no wealth, then you're left with the top 3 quintiles. So, okay. And then if you split that up further, I mean, yeah, sure. Yeah, billionaires should be paying those taxes. Why would the people with less money be paying taxes? Also, the people in like the top 1%, or 0.1%, 0.001%, all of those people pay the same amount in taxes as people who make 600K or more. So people who just like live a comfortable, wealthy life are paying the same amount of money as like Jeff Bezos. So it's, okay, maybe there's a problem here. You know, at least it seems. Let me make sure my laptop is plugged in so it doesn't die on me. There we go. Cool. But yeah, if you don't see a problem with that, that's absurd. It's obvious that those people should be paying much more than people in the 600,000 tax bracket.
Yeah.
A lot less in taxes because of the provision that just went into Trump's,
even
your
more
guys'
revenue to
big,
the
beautiful bill.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Wow. That was quick for her. Let me see. 21 to 27. Oh, okay. She got like 6 minutes there. That's surprising.
Yeah.
Okay. This seems like it's going to be a long time. It looks like they had like 20-minute conversation. Whew.
Was Mason 2 times?
I think 3. He went up at the beginning, and then I think he came up for another claim. I could be wrong. But he was chosen at the end to give a claim himself. And then they debated his claim, which was that the US is not a meritocracy.
Mhm.
But okay, so we can watch that one if you want to, or we can do a shorter segment of another kind of highlight. It's up to you.
Let's do Mason.
Masons? Okay, cool. And then we'll wrap it up from there.
Yeah.
All right.
Its influence to continue to be successful.
So is it about some of the people that got generational wealth have an advantage over others that didn't get it?
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily saying that that's a moral failure. I'm just saying when people claim that capitalism is a meritocracy, that's just factually inaccurate. And we shouldn't be allowed to lie here. Like we should try to be coming to a common consensus.
So capitalism is not a meritocracy.
No.
So you mean to tell me nobody here can go out there and win if they wanted to at the highest level?
No, I think that there's a probability that people can have social.
No, that's the point. Is no, not everybody can be winners, and that's actually like the point of his argument. Is like he takes a sort of functionalist view on the economy, like social class and like social stratification. So it's like in this type of system, to incentivize people to be economically successful, there has to be winners and losers. If there's a winner, there has to be a loser, because you have to be like the people who will work hard enough will get what they're supposed to get. And the people at the bottom who aren't working hard enough are the people who are not supposed to get what they get because they're not working hard enough. So yeah, not everybody can, because there has to be winners and losers.
Yeah.
It has to be one person making more.
Mobility or increase our economic conditions, it does not mean that everybody is able to. While some people could be a billionaire in the circle, not everybody
saying
could be.
Not everybody's able to.
Oh, you muted.
Always. But there's stats on this. Inherited wealth and your parents' income is one of the biggest predictors of whether or not you will gain social mobility, upward social mobility. So.
I fully agree. I can play baseball, but I'm probably not going to play in Major League Baseball.
I can spend money on a lottery ticket. Doesn't mean I'm guaranteed to win the lottery.
I agree. So what's your point? I agree with you there.
So my point is that America is not a meritocracy. You said that.
No, you said there's two things. Anybody at what levels, you can have success. To me in life, there's three different types of people. You got overachievers, you got achievers, you got underachievers. Let me unpack this for a second. We got 10 minutes.
You can.
Overachiever, achiever, underachiever. Okay. You can find a guy in school. We all remember the kid in school that was going to, that kid's going to win in life. And he didn't. He was supposed to be an overachiever. He ended up being an underachiever. And there were kids in school that we looked at, we said, that guy's not going to do anything with life. Dude, stay away from that guy. He ends up winning. He's an overachiever. So it's not about what you're, end up doing in your life. It's how close you reach to your capacity.
The winning that you're talking about, quote unquote, is wealth accumulation.
Not necessarily wealth accumulation.
That's exactly what you said.
If you end up, I have friends that make $120,000 a year. They have a good life. They're happily married, got 2 kids, and they're chose to go live in a place like Victorville. They chose to go live in a different place. But to me, that is winning. They're contributing to society.
I have a genuine question for you, Patrick.
Please.
Do you think that a nurse or a hedge fund manager offers more social utility?
This is documented. 14 years ago, I made a video talking about the 10 most honorable professions, and a hedge fund manager wasn't on that list, but a nurse was.
Wow.
I believe what nurses do, when my father's at the hospital and I see how they attend to him, you have no idea how much respect I have for nurses.
Right.
It's a tough job.
However, but I would say the hierarchy of what our society looks like does not prioritize that.
Exactly. That's the point. The point is that like workers nurses aren't making as much as they should. If they're the most like noble job to work, then they should be making more.
But
there's a difference. So there's a difference. Do I think a nurse is more important to the market than a basketball player? Yes. But the market wants to watch a basketball player play, so they pay Steph Curry $60 million.
We both agree that America's failing, right? Your last claim was about how America's socialist, and that's a bad thing. I assume that you're saying because of government intervention.
Absolutely.
So you think capitalism can exist without government intervention?
I think you need law and order because there will be abuse if you don't have it. In our insurance company, when I was running the company, I had to make sure there was law and order in there. If you don't have certain compliance, abuse will come in. When abuse comes in, if it's
right. Are part of those laws like labor laws?
That can also be abused. No, it's a fair question you're asking, but a part of that can also be abused. A lot of those guys go in with the right intentions. Then they become dividers and they pin the employer against the employee. So then that is the divide and conquer model is very effective.
I just want to break this down. Do you think that there are not mutually exclusive interests in owners and workers?
Do I think there's mutual interest with owners and workers?
Do you think that they have a symbiotic relationship and where they're trying to achieve the same goal?
I like to give my employees equity because if you own equity in the company, you no longer are an employee. You treat it as if it's your own company. So I prefer to give my employees equity, but it's my choice. I don't want the government forcing me to give them equity. I'll give you a story. Do you remember that story of a guy who said, I pay every single one of my employees $70,000 a year? What was this guy's name?
You're muted.
It's always a story. Like I said, he literally says, like, I'm a storyteller. I'm telling stories, but like his stories never support what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this guy. The story went viral. Socialism, what a noble guy. Everybody retweeted it. The Bernies of the world. Phenomenal guy. I invited him on the podcast. He comes on the podcast. I said, so tell me about your noble cause that you pay everybody 70 grand a year. He says, well, I don't think anybody should make over 70 grand a year. You can live off of $70,000 a year. I said, perfect.
Right.
How many employees do you have? Let me make the point. I said,
I don't think that this is conducive to our conversation.
I said, how many employees do you have? He says 100. I said, how many of those 100 own a single share of your company? None of them do. Who does? I do. You're a socialist, claiming everybody should make that much money, but you're not getting equity.
I'm not endorsing this particular person. I'd love to look into this, and maybe I'll watch the interview later.
There's a lot of contradictions in socialism when it comes down to action.
There are contradictions in the way that workers are trying to get as much wages as possible. That's just guaranteed. I want to get the maximum amount for the labor that I put into it. A owner wants to do the exact opposite. It's not that they want to pay people what they deserve. They want to pay people what they can get away with. That's just virtually true. Yes. Because when you say,
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case.
No, you already agree that coercion exists in the system. You're just saying that socialism. You're saying that socialism is the government mandating others to do it. But you're saying that markets do the exact same thing. You just said that the market price determines.
Don't put words in my mouth. I like you. You're respectful. You're a nice guy. Don't put words in my mouth.
Did you not say that markets determine market rates?
I haven't. What I'm telling you is there will be abuse in business. And if there's a person
I'm
like
going to ask
that,
you the same question as soon as you're done. But
there is abuse in business. Some people will take advantage of that. But the benefit of a free market capitalism is if I don't treat you fairly, you go work for him. If he doesn't treat you fairly, you go work for him. Eventually, if you bring enough value, guess who can't afford to lose you? I can't afford to lose you.
Do you think that markets determine market rates?
If I can't afford to lose you, guess what I have to do to you?
Do you think that markets determine market rates?
You didn't answer my question. If I can't afford to lose you, guess what I do to you?
Do you know what a monopsony is?
Tell me about it.
So do you know the difference between a monopoly and a
I know monopoly. Tell me about monopoly.
Okay, so a monopoly is a single seller who has rare competition within the selling of the distribution. That creates like inflated prices and that can hurt consumers. But a monopsony is one single buyer. So this is an employer. There are things called company towns. You brought up the example of Walmart outpricing small businesses. Sure. I think that's a fantastic example.
On the minimum wage side.
Right, of how there are large businesses that utilize their leverage and their influence and their capital in order to determine what those wages look like in a given particular place. Sure. So what I want to argue is minimum wages seem to stifle monopolies because they allow people to start at the same floor rate. You're saying that big businesses have an advantage when there's a minimum wage because they can pay more.
They do.
We are also advocating for higher taxation rates and capital gains taxes on these businesses that are supposedly taking advantage of the system.
I think
wait. You can invest this in tax breaks for small businesses for people that have less employees. Maybe you say that less than 5 employees, they have certain tax incentives, so they're not taxed at the same rate as these large conglomerates. But that does not mean that a minimum wage is a bad idea because, like most people here said, you can't survive on less than $7 an hour in most places.
You know what's the great thing about business and numbers and data is every idea is getting exposed. During COVID, all the policies that came out from the leftist side, they're all getting exposed today. Within time, everybody realizes what works and what doesn't work.
Can you name those policies?
When
just saying that they failed?
chose kids to stay home instead of going to school.
When is that a socialist policy?
That is a control because when a government is ran in a way that they're controlling.
That's not socialism.
Socialism is a form of control.
Socialism is a workers' control of their own.
Ultimate control.
No, socialism is workers' control of their own workplace.
Socialism is a form of control. Communism is the ultimate control.
See, you're using this rhetorical device as saying that capitalism equals freedom, socialism equals control.
I want to be respectful to you, and I've given you a couple of questions that you haven't answered yet.
I'll answer any question.
I want to go back to the question
that I asked. The rhetorical strategy that you're using might be beneficial for a large media platform. It's not based in reality.
If you bring value to me, and you're so effective to my company, if you get to a point that I don't give you a good salary and I don't give you equity, what's going to happen to you most likely?
I'm going to try to start a union with my workplace. So that way we can collectively bargain on how to raise the floor.
That's one of the options, but guess typically what ends up happening.
What happens? They're busted?
You leave and you go to a different company. And they
are you saying the owners bust the union? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking union. You're talking about a different candidate.
What do you think about unions?
I think in some places they work. I told you earlier, in many cases they're divisive.
We agree. You also mentioned Wealth of Nations. You like Adam Smith?
I think a lot of his ideas, yes.
Do you disagree, or do you also agree that landlords are parasites?
I don't agree landlords are parasites.
Adam Smith, even a Wealth of Nations author, said that. He said that rent is
cherry picking. I don't think landlords are parasites. I think in many cases, when you think about what's happening with New York right now, this is why I'm telling you guys. I hope all of us reunite in 4 years and we have a conversation. And I hope Mamdani wins. I am hoping Mamdani wins because that case study is going to get opened up and all of you guys are going to see.
Can we both agree that corporate Democrats?
This is so funny because this guy never mentions Mamdani at all. Like he never. And what policy? What he keeps saying leftists are going to get exposed for their bad policy. Blah blah blah. What policy? Like, can you just mention like at least one? Give an example.
Are a stain on this country.
Corporate
Democrats that utilize their leverage and utilize their influence to maximize their own private wealth is a bad thing that we should discourage.
I think if it's their choice. I don't think you and I get to tell them what to do and what not to do.
So you think that like insider trading should be allowed?
I'm not for insider trading whatsoever.
You just said it's their choice.
No, if you're
you can use your influence.
If you're specific with insider trading, that's a different conversation.
I just think that all of these are examples of why capitalism is not a meritocracy, especially when you're saying politicians who utilize their influence to maximize their own wealth. You're talking about landlords who are profiting off of necessity for people, or you're talking about business owners who stifle unions for people that just want to collect.
You could be right if the data was shown. I'll shake your hand. Absolutely. I'm not trying to disrespect you. No,
thank you.
You've been very respectful. No. But for me to tell you this, everything here can be proven based on data. If
Correct.
your policies are so attractive, I'm going to come to you.
Empirical
If your
data shows
policies
that
are
worker
not attractive,
cooperatives are
they
not
will
only
leave
more
you.
sustainable to market collapses, but they also provide more of an actual attachment to the work that those workers have. The alienation of labor is absolutely making people hate their jobs. Why do you think most people watching probably don't like the workplace that they're in, but still agree that there's some problem in America, whether they're saying it's immigrants or whether they're saying it's billionaires? What the problem is in America is
Right.
people don't feel an actual attachment to what they're
What do
producing
you
in the
think
world.
about Social Security? What do you think about what FDR did?
Wait,
Actually,
do you have nothing to say about those
no,
worker
because your
cooperatives?
point's been made. Go back to Social Security. This has been done with.
Okay.
Right? If we have a couple minutes. What do you think about Social Security and how FDR came up with it?
Yeah, I think FDR, from most historians, are placed in the top 3 of all presidents, and that's from conservatives and Democrats. I think that FDR got a lot of things great. I really like his second bill of economic rights. I think it's very vital that we provide people with housing, we decommodify things that are necessities. Do you know the difference between elastic and inelastic goods?
Stay on Social Security.
Oh, so you don't know the difference?
What do you think about Social Security? Stay on that.
Okay, well, Social Security, I think, was initially had as a social safety net to add a supplemental income to people's pensions. So most people going into like the 1950s all the way up to the 1980s were given pensions by corporations as a promise that if you work for my firm, I'll make sure that I supplement the exact same salary that you're getting throughout the rest of your life.
Okay.
Now, what Ronald Reagan did was he changed the pensions to contribution-based retirement, which means I could put this in the 401k, I could put it in the stock market, and if the stock market collapses,
Do you think Social Security ended up being
I
a
don't have
system that worked?
Reaganomics mentioned. Oh my goodness. I figured I need I don't know if you saw, his name is Oliver Niehaus or Niehaus or something. He's always
No.
on Jubilee as well. He's on tons of their episodes and he does reviews of all the debates. He posted about this. He did a debate review of the whole thing, and he has like bingo that's like take a or something like you cross off a spot if PBD gets fact checked, if they mentioned Reaganomics, if they mentioned, like meritocracy or something like that. It's very funny. Or if they start screaming at each other.
Interesting enough, they haven't started screaming.
I know, it's very interesting. Some of them got really mad, like the girl, he told her, I'll pay for your medical bills if I get to choose your psychiatrist, and she was like, fuck no, absolutely not. But that was the only time I heard profanity used, even. So very surprising. The funny thing is the critique that I keep seeing on YouTube and on Twitter is like, oh, you guys are, I can't say that word. Sorry. You guys are R-worded tankies. And it's like, I don't think most people here even identify as communist. A lot of them are like social democrats or democratic socialist or some other like mixed market socialist or something like that. Like none of them are, I think very few of them were identifying as communists. So it's so strange.
Yeah.
That Social Security is definitely needed as a supplemental income. And right now, since we have contribution-based retirements, it's absolutely needed, because if you don't want old people eating cat food, we probably need some sort of sustainable income.
When he came up with Social Security,
Do
do you
old
think
people
his
eat
intention
cat
was to have
food?
74 million people use it today? Do you think that's what he thought was going to happen?
Yeah, and I think it's because you're not gutting.
I think that was a hyperbole or like a meme, but I think, let me see, like.
I know my grandpa tried cat food.
I think my siblings have tried it when they were young. Or like dog food or something. Oh, there's like some trope about old people being so poor they eat cat food or something.
Nice.
Oh, wait, no, here's a ABC Utah. My amount is about $1,500 a month, said Maria Garcia, 64. If you go back and just think about when I was working. Yeah, some seniors on Social Security eat cat food to survive.
Nice.
Oh my God. That's so gross. $1,500 a month. At that point, I don't know what to. Oh,
Do you have a cat or any pets?
I do have a cat. He's very intelligent. He can shake and spin, and he's very fat.
I bet I can. I'll debate him.
We'll get him on here one time. He's people who watch my stuff are big fans of him. His name is Einstein. So
Is he what breed is he?
I don't know. He's just gray. He's a gray tabby, I think.
Gray cat.
Yeah, he's got little white paws, so he looks like he has socks on.
Nice.
He's cool dude. He looks
Well-
very sweet too.
Yeah, when I was adopting a dog, there was a lot of people adopting cats.
Yes, cats are, I think, some of the most overpopulated, like stray animal population. So places are always looking to adopt. There's actually, I should probably plug this while I'm on here. If you're looking to take care of stray cats, there's a company, I think I have it linked in my bio, I could be wrong, that feeds stray cats and stray dogs, and they You can donate, I think, as little as like $10, and you get a bracelet. And they put up feeders around public areas where there's frequently cats and dogs. And I think there's a certain amount. I think it's like that $10 can like feed a ton of animals. So cool thing to donate to. I'll probably put that in the description since I mentioned it.
Yeah, I know. So like there is a drummer of a band Obituary, and I met him, and he was feeding stray cats. He's like a big on that thing. You're muted.
Yes. Yeah. That's animal welfare is like a biggest thing I care about these days. I'm big on animal welfare. So.
In the program in its entirety.
So
You can say that
when
Social
you-
Security is a failure
Right.
if you take the wheels off the
When-
car.
so
The car's
when-
not going to run.
when
So if you
Social
continue to
Security-
buff it up and you make sure that you have good
Sure,
guardrails,
but
it can be a
the
successful program.
challenge is a lot of time when you come up with a noble idea to try to fix something today, ends up getting bigger and you never expected it. When Social Security first came out in 1935, the first benefits were paid in 37, and it was paid in a lump sum. At that time, we had 128 million people living in America. Do you know how many people got Social Security?
Tell me.
54,000. Do you know when benefits started?
Tell me.
65 years old. So let me say this again to you. Life expectancy was 61. Social Security benefits started at 65.
Right. So you're saying because we've increased life, people need to work longer, right?
0.04%.
So grandma should be working at the-
Let me make
the
my
mill
point,
right
and then
now.
you can say anything you want to say.
Well, I'm just
Point-
saying, you said as
point-
life
let me tell you where we are
increases, people
today.
should be working
Let
longer.
me tell you
want
today.
to extend retirement age,
No,
right?
if you bring that to today and you bring the exact same formula as the great FDR came up
See,
with.
Patrick, here's the difference between our worldviews. You're saying that because Social
Today, there's
Security
340
right
million
now,
people. Let me say the
Go
point,
ahead.
and then I'll let you speak
Okay.
as long as you want to speak.
Great.
So that went from, math again for you, 54,000 out of 128 million people, 0.04%. Life expectancy 61, benefits start 65. Today, it's 74 million out of 340 million. That's 21%. When life expectancy is 78, benefits start at 65. Do you know who's going to pay the price on Social Security? Not my
yeah,
generation.
if you
Yours
keep
is.
doing cuts, correct. If you keep
Yeah. I mean, obviously the younger generation's going to pay if you cut it, and the older generation got it. They're just going to die with enough money, and we're going to be suffering. Yeah, of course. Love the big, beautiful bill.
doing cuts
No, because
and
you're going to
Social
run out of
Security
money.
tax
You're
payments.
going to run out of
No,
money.
that's not how it works. So the difference between our worldview, Patrick, is you're saying not only should people work longer into life because life expectancy has increased, but they should work longer into life without guarantees for healthcare, without preventative care. And that's not only going to increase the deterioration of people's living conditions, it's also going to lead to a worse economy. Because let me tell you, 70-year-olds not going to be the most productive members of our economy. They should be spending time with their families. They should be easing into their passing away. We shouldn't be forcing grandma to go to the mill.
It's going to be on your back. You'll be paying for this in 30 years.
Appreciate you.
All right. What'd you think? Final thoughts?
Oh, it was pretty fun. I wish it was more heated. I like the heat, but it wasn't. It was pretty chill. It was impressive. And this guy Mason, it was too many times that you've been. I don't know how fair. I don't know how fair that is. I wish you were there more times.
I need to be. There was one that they had, and it was the episode I think that Z ended up going on, the populism one, that I think she did really well on. But I was going to end up going, and I just couldn't get the funds in time. But thankfully, I had some help this time, so that was kind of cool. And I keep in touch with the producers every once in a while, just to kind of be like, "Hey, you got any cool politics episodes coming out soon?" So hopefully, I'll be on more. That's the goal, at least.
And you said you can ask about me, right?
Yeah, I can tell them about the idea that you had, and we'll keep in touch about that. That'd be super cool.
Yeah,
I would
like
love to see-
immigration or Ukraine would be good for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I will let them know. I'll actually make a note to reach out tonight or tomorrow morning. I don't know if it's too late
Yeah.
for them. Probably not, but cool. Yeah, so great chat. If you want to say any closing words, plug your stuff again. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna plug my stuff. My stuff is Real Visigoths on everywhere: YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter. So it's RealVisigoth, Real Visigoth. I think that's about it. I hope we're gonna have more of these reactions with you in the future.
Yeah, that would be super cool. We could try to do any videos that you're on, and we could even do like a respond to the panel that we're doing tomorrow. That would be
Yeah,
really cool.
we should definitely do that.
Yeah. All right. Cool. And
Yeah.
I will keep you updated on stuff
Yeah.
about Jubilee.
How much do you think we're gonna be able to speak on that panel? I think we're gonna be just intro, and then we're gonna probably silence.
It's I suspect a lot of yelling and screaming about this, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, but it's cool to be on the same panel as Destiny.
Yeah, it is cool. Cool guy. I really appreciate the work he does, and it's fun to work with. So,
Sure.
but all right, have a good one.
Yeah. See ya.
Okay, cool. All right, so now that we're wrapping up, I just want to plug a few things. I will leave the link to that company that I mentioned about the bracelets that help feed stray animals. The company is called Stray with a line over the A. I will link that in the YouTube description. I'm also on the Unfuck America tour. We are following Charlie Kirk around to college campuses and other events that he's hosting. We have one September 18th or 19th. I think it's 18th. Fort Collins, Colorado, University of Colorado. I will not be attending this one, but I will be at future dates. So keep an eye out for that. You can go to unfuckamericatour.com, or you can follow all of our social medias at Unfuck America Tour, Z to the Hill on Instagram, or Zico and Sanchez. People like Corey C-Mags, Mercedes Chandler, myself, Logix, a ton of other people. You can find out our information on the tour site. If you look at the creators tab, it will show you who all is involved. Destiny will be there headlining the tour. Amazing person to work with. You can check out my Twitter at leftistblondie. In the link tree in my about section, you can find links like my Act Blue site, which you can donate to, or you can send money directly to my Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, etc. All of that will be linked in that link tree. And I will always have resources for other sorts of social advocacy in the link tree in my bio. So we are looking to raise funds for our trip. So if you guys can help out, even $5 will help. You guys can also find tickets and volunteer signups in the link tree. Those will be for the tour. So we hope to see you guys there. And like I said, like, share, subscribe. See y'all later.